to Hobbies and Hyperfocus, a YouTube channel mainly about cross stitch, but can also be about other weird things that my brain goes on the tangent with. My name is Pam. My pronouns are she, her, and I live on Treaty 6 land, which is the homelands of the Métis and Cree people here in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Let's start out with saying today is September 17th, 2023, and we are on YouTube number 4. Our tarot card of the day comes from the Sacred Circle Tarot. Sorry, it's really shiny. I don't know how to do this. And it is the Queen of Discs, or the Queen of Pentacles in some decks. And it is a card about expression, so bringing something manifest into the material world. It can be about money, doesn't necessarily need to be about money, but basically manifesting something into the material world. So since we're here to talk about cross stitch, let's talk about cross stitch. I've actually already filmed this 3 times. The first time I filmed, I wasn't really filming. The whole thing didn't film. I didn't press the film button, so we're in a little bit of a tizzy here. So what I primarily worked on the last 2 weeks was my Temperature SAL. So we have, ooh, you can see right through it. This one is the Galaxy Temperature SAL with the highs and the lows. So each, you can see high and low, the darker redder ones are the high. I finished up to the end of August here, and the string will show me where to start September. Each one of these things has 3 months in it, so September will be the last month, and we will start the last spiral. This is by Climbing Goat Designs in the UK, and I think for next year I'm going to do another Temperature SAL, but I think I'm going to do her Phase of the Moon Temperature SAL. But I'm definitely going to do it on a higher count. This one is on 40 count carbon copy by Dying for Cross Stitch, and I love it. I love that it's small and fine, but my eyes do not love it. As I mentioned, I think in my second episode, as I'm getting older, my eyes are getting worse, and I'm noticing it a lot more now. Where when I was younger, my eyesight I was very nearsighted, so when I wanted to do something like cross stitch, I could take off my glasses and still see very clearly. And now I'm getting to the point where I can neither see very far away or close to myself. And it's starting to really worry me, because I'm worried that I'm going to go blind. I'm probably not going to go blind, but I'm worried about it. And so next year when I do that, I want to find like maybe a 32 count or a 36 count rather than a 40 count. I'm finding 40 is really, really difficult for me to stitch on. But I did notice, I don't pull it open very often, but I have another huge chunk here that I think I'm going to use for my Night Spirit Studios. I want to do Self-Worship, which I showed in the last video. I showed a picture of it. It's something like I bought that one for the Stitch for Sage, and I haven't really gotten around to it because I'm still struggling really hard with non-monogamous stitching. I have been a monogamous stitcher from when I started, probably in the late 80s, early 90s, and when I was a monogamous stitcher, I was mostly monogamous because I like to work on the ladies, the Mirabilias and lavender and lace and those things. And I tended to work on what are called BAPs or big ass projects. And so it was so difficult to get the material and the hoops and the flosses, especially if you had to get any specialty flosses, that by the time you got it and started it, you wouldn't want to start all over to get another one. I'm actually very glad now that you can order online. It's so much easier than having to travel to, I used to have to travel to Calgary to a place called the Purple Needle to get any kind of linen or specialty threads, and they're gone now. But still the closest needle workshop is in Calgary, Traditional Stitches. But now I can order from them online. Makes it a lot easier. So that was the last, about a week and a half. I did about 10 hours on that one. And then after I did that, I was just drawn into this one. I've been wanting to start this one for about probably 10 years, maybe 20. I think I saw this in the 90s in Just Cross Stitch or The Cross Stitcher. It was in a cross stitch magazine, and it's a cross stitch magazine only pattern, and it is Trick or Treat Fairy by Nora Corbett of Mirabilia. So I will insert a picture of what it looked like 2 weeks ago when I first started it, because I started it the day that I filmed, and this is where we are now. I've finished the dress, and I started doing the Krynic glow in the dark tangerine right here. It's a little lighter than I thought it was going to be. Maybe I should have used blending filament, but I'm gonna go with that. I might need to order more Krynic from 123 Stitch. I have to order a whole bunch of Krynics for other projects, which we will get to. I forgot how easy actually Krynic is to work with. I had this idea in my head that it was the worst thing. It was like very difficult to work with. And then I started working with it again, and it was like, no, it must have been something else that I was thinking was terrible to work with. I know Whisper, the fuzzy Whisper, that stuff is not great to work with. It just tangles. It's not that it's bad, it's just tangles. So I've done the dress. I'm starting the wording. I'm kind of up in the air with whether I want to make her as pictured, and I'll put the picture here. I took a picture of the page from the magazine. I don't know if I want to make her like, I want to have her as the traditional white girl, but with all the browns in it, I'm finding it difficult on how to change her skin tone and not lose her in it because of the orange kind of brown of the fabric, the browns that are underneath her. She has like that owl on her. So she might, the girl part, the skin is probably going to be one of the last things I do. I'm going to come down here with her feet and the pumpkins. Then I'll make my order on the 1st for all my Krynics. And I think I have all the beads. I have quite a lot of beads from projects gone by. So I'm really looking forward to finishing that, but I have so many things that I want to stitch, and I'm just all over the place. Again, monogamous stitching is kind of difficult for me. That's what I want to fall back into, but I also want to do all the things, and I realize if I don't do multiple projects, then I'm never going to get all the things done. So, and the last thing that I worked on is the steady thread black work thing. It's a stitch along. You get one of these every week. I'm on this one, which is number 31. There's going to be flowers in there, but I haven't finished this. I just started this one. I am a few weeks behind. Week 37 just came out, but I am loving this. I love the look of black work, and I always thought it was so much harder than it is. But yeah, this is, I'd like to get caught up on this one. I'm also looking at one of her larger blackwork pieces. I think it's called Tree of Life, and a Tree of Life Biological. Like, it looks like a tree. I've seen it. It was done by Imogen X Stitch on Instagram, and I'm like, I love that. And she did it with, I think, black, and then Bradley's balloons for all the leaves. And I'm all about the Bradley's balloons. I want to find that thread, and I have so many projects that I would do with it. My little guy who just turned 6, he loves everything that has rainbows in it. He just loves colors and the spectrum of rainbows. And so there's not a lot of little boy patterns the way that there's little girl patterns. For Christmas, I had done, all of his sisters had gotten Nora Corbett pixies with their initials. I will try and insert some pictures here. So all 4 of them, well, the 3 of them, but the four things were done, but they're all pixies or mermaids, and he's not into that. He's into video games and Minecraft and O-boxes and music and colors, and so he didn't really want a pixie, and he didn't want a mermaid, and I just wish there was something similar that he could do, or that I could do for him. So what I've been working on for the small human is the only knitting that I've done in the last couple years, and it's going to be a sock at some point right now. It's a rather large sock compared to what I thought it was going to be, and I still have about 3 inches on the toe here, and it is, where is it from? Premier Yarn Design, just a kid's sock. So this is my first attempt in probably 10 years to making a sock and knitting. And I don't think that I thought it through quite well, because that's all the thread I have left. So this is not going to make 2 socks. So I might have to find another ball of wool and make mismatched socks for him. And that's kind of what I do when I'm taking an eye break at work. So that is all the stitching that I did this week, this last 2 weeks. And it really doesn't feel like I did a lot. And I think that's kind of why I originally had wanted to do it every month. But it was too long between videos. I was getting myself all nervous and all freaked out. So, there's a fly around here, sorry. This is the problem about fall, is in the fall, anytime you open the door, a bunch of flies come in, and then I can't get rid of them. The cats love them. They chase them around, they try and catch them. They don't catch them. That's the problem. But, sorry, there's a fly, and I can't kill him because he won't go away. So I have my skeleton coffee cup. Okay, so the next section is basically Happy Mail, things that I ordered. I got this from the buy and trade group on Michelle Bendy Stitchy's Discord. I've been looking for Mirabilias, basically. I do a lot of Mirabilias. And I got this from, I'll have to insert her name. Because she had it and she didn't want it. So she sent it to me. I bought it. It actually came within like a week and a half. And I've been looking for this one. I've also ordered a few off eBay, or tried to order them off of eBay. I'll have to see what's coming in the mail. I lose track really easily. I'm also waiting for my planner. I ordered a sterling ink planner, which is different than the one I usually use. The one that I've been using for 5 or 6 years now is the Hobonichi Techo Cousin, which is the A5 size. I showed it, I think, on video 1. And that one, I love it because I can use my fountain pens. It's my favorite one right now. It's a Platinum Preppy. I don't have it inked up, but yeah. This one is a fine tip. And I like the Hobonichi because they have Tomoe River paper, which is very, very good if you want to use fountain pens. Now I have fountain pens, I have ink. Do I remember to use them? No, I do not. I have a lot of ink. My current favorite inks are from Ferris Wheel Press. And I think maybe I'll try and do some swatches about the ink and all that stuff. Just waiting, because now I hear all the humans, the small human upstairs. I don't think he's going to come down. Last week, and I'll insert a clip here. Last week I organized my pegboard, which you can't see, but it's like right behind the camera here, and you can hear my kids screaming at my dog. I organized it because I had a huge amount of DMC floss. I still have quite a large floss monster that needs to be picked out and re-pegged. But I went through all of my flosses that I had that are not currently in projects, and I tried to put them up on the wall, and I realized that I'm going to need to get some of those little, what do they call them? Floss drop things. I keep mine on floss drops once I take them out of the skein. But sometimes I've just used a paper card. Sometimes I've used ones that I've made myself. And I'd really like to get some of the, what are they, the little plastic ones that they have. I think they're called, I'll have to look them up. I know Michelle Bendy Stitchy has them from Adam Hart or something like that. I need like hundreds of them because I have hundreds of skeins of floss. And this is like all the way from when I first started doing cross stitch. So I first started probably the late 80s, early 90s, doing Mirabilias and at that time lavender and lace angels and stuff. So yeah, I have a huge amount, and that's just the ones that I've stuck up that you'll see in the video. That's just DMC. I also have quite a bit from the Nora Corbett pixies that I did for my daughters, of Gentle Arts, or I think they're Gentle Arts, but that's just DMC. And then I need to figure out how to put up the specialty flosses. I want to get the ones that you can stick spools on so that I can have the spools. I want a way to put up any of my sticker books and things. Like, it's basically trying to be my art studio down here. Mostly it's just a mess. But eventually I'm going to get that done. So that was my happy meal. My plans for the next 2 weeks will be basically, oh, the fly. I want to start the Mermaids of the Seasons stitch along. The first pattern came out on Friday, and we are starting with spring. I don't know if I can insert a picture of like just kind of what she looks like here. I was lax and I didn't get together the flosses, but I think that's what I'm going to focus on this week, is trying to get together, go through my floss monster and find out which ones I have, which ones I still need. And I think in the first, I usually do my 1, 2, 3 stitch order if I'm going to order at the very, very first part of the month, because that's when I tend to have disposable income. So I'm going to try and get most of the Krynics that I need at that time. I generally do the Krynics at the end. So I'll do all the stitching and then I'll do the Krynics and then I'll do the beads. I always do the beads last because I have to take them off the hoop and do them by hand. Because generally what I do is bigger than my hoop. So I can't do it on the hoop. I can't move the hoop. So I just do it by hand. And I find that easier to do. So I'm going to buy all the beads last when all the 4 mermaids are done. Again, I said we're starting with spring, and I received the pattern on Friday, and I was kind of slightly disappointed to be told that you cannot use Pattern Keeper for this. I don't know how they do it so that you can't use Pattern Keeper, but she basically said you can't use an Android device for this digital pattern. So that means I'm going to have to go to Costco today and get the inks for my printer, which I need anyway because I also make stickers, and I'm out of ink. So then I can print a working copy. Part of the reason that I really wanted to do this was because I wanted to use the digital. I've found, as I've started working with digital patterns and PDFs, that I have a harder time with with paper patterns. Oh, that fly. I have a harder time with paper patterns, and I'm finding that I'm miscounting a lot more on paper patterns, and then I have a harder time with the pattern ripping and having to buy another one or make another copy. So I was slightly disappointed when they said, no, you can't use Pattern Keeper because it's not a secure way and the designer won't allow that and la la la. So I'm back to printing off the pattern, and they do say that you can use Mark X or some other kind of digital pattern reader that I haven't ever downloaded. Well, the problem is that even though I run with a lot of Macs, like you can see my Mac in the background, I have an iPhone, I've always been a Mac Apple person. The only tablet that I have is an Android tablet, and that's what I use to run Pattern Keeper. I don't have an iPad. So Mark X or whatever this one is called, first of all, I understand that it's a monthly subscription to use, so Pattern Keeper is a one-time you buy it type thing, and Markup or Mark X is a subscription, so you have to pay for it every month, which everybody's going that way, but it just doesn't, I don't know if I want to do that. I don't have a device that I can use it on other than my phone, and I'm already having a hard time seeing tiny things on my phone. So yeah, I'm opting to just print the patterns and maybe make a couple copies. At least it'll print in 8.5 by 11, which is the standard size that I have. Not ideal, no, but I like the mermaids. I'm enjoying doing the one that I'm doing, the Mermaid Aquabella, the Crystal Mermaid Aquabella by Bella Filipina. So I like how he designs them, and so I'm gonna try it. Maybe as I get more into doing paper patterns again, I'll find that it's not as hard as I think it is, and it's just my overthinking. Maybe I'll learn to count. I don't know. That's my plan. I would like to start that one. I'm still trying to kit up the Little Brown Bat by Cottage Sampler Designs that I wanted to put on the fabric with the beaver. And I also have enough material to make, I only have the zippers here, 4 more Halloween themed project bags. So I would like to make some project bags as well as some grime guards that match, and it's all going to be Halloween themed whether I do a Halloween project or not, because that's how I roll. I am all about the Halloween. I'm trying to decorate this wall here as well behind me with my Halloween things, but it's just not going very fast. This area here is actually my daughter's computer. This is my old computer. She uses it for doing her Orton Gillingham tutoring every week. So this is her area. And I put my sewing machine over here when I'm done with it. It goes down there. My sticker books. These are actually shelves that I want to put up on the wall to put my Halloween things up. And I want to put down an altar down here as well. I haven't had an altar up for 2 years. We had to take it down. I live in a condominium, and it's a townhouse condo, so all the houses are stuck together. Oh, and the fly is just going to drive everybody nuts. The townhouse condo style, I would like to move out of here. I would rather live in a standalone home, the North American standard standalone home. But if you know anything about Canadian real estate and home prices right now, it's impossible. We're facing a huge crisis right now, homeless crisis and housing crisis, because when I bought this place, it was starting to go up, and now, even though this place is considered in a pretty bad area and not a great house, if I did sell it, I might get more for it than I bought it for, even in the condition that it's in, because the price of housing has just increased. It probably has doubled in selling price now, and unfortunately, because we have a huge amount of repairs to do, we're not going to be able to sell this place without taking a loss right now. But even if we sold the place, we wouldn't get enough to buy another house. And that's kind of where everything's happening here. But that's all to say that a few years ago, one of our neighbors in the building had bed bugs. So what happened is the condo complex basically forced everybody to do, to pack everything up. So like we had to pack up, like I had to pack up all my stuff into bins. I had to pack up, we have, I don't know, maybe I'll take a video of like kind of, we have thousands and thousands of DVDs. We collected them over the years. We had to pack all those up. Everything had to be packed up. There had to be nothing sitting out that wasn't an electronic device. We had to pack up our whole kitchen, our bedroom. We had to like take the beds apart and put them against the wall. It was 2 weeks of constant cleaning to get this done, because we live in, it's 1,100 square feet. And at one point we had all of the kids here. So we have a lot of stuff. And it took 2 weeks to get it to the standard that the condo board wanted, just to come in for them to fumigate. And we had to leave it like that for 2 weeks, because it was 2 weeks between. So at that point, I took down my personal altar and I just left it. I just never put it back up. And I thought, well, I'm going to put it down here with all of my stuff. And I've just never gotten to that point. I'm still sort of organizing and taking things apart and decluttering. And as the older kids moved out, they took some of their stuff, not all of it, but some of their stuff. And again, the DVDs and the Blu-rays, I don't know if we're going to get rid of them, what we're doing with them. I don't know why I'm babbling, but anyway, I'm going to put down either up here or like a shelf. I want to put up my altar again. I want to do more with the pegboard. I want to have more of a sewing space here. And I really need to like actually focus on doing that. So that's my winter project, is hyper focusing on just my area. I'm waiting to see here now if I will get another year at the online academy that I've been working through to get my my CAPM that I talked about working through last time. And I still have not applied for my PMI membership. I need to do that, but it's the expense of it right now. That's the only thing holding me back. Once everybody's birthdays are over, my daughter's birthday is on Tuesday. So once her birthday is over, then I can start focusing on getting things like that done. That's really about all that's going on in my life. And that was probably more than anyone ever needed to know or cared about. What else do we need? So that's the plans. The plans are to kit up the Mermaid SAL, to work on the Mermaid SAL, to probably do some more work, catch up with the black work. I would like to do a little bit more work on my fairy. What else can I do? Kit up the rest of the little brown bat. And I want to dye some material to restart the Sea Witch, or the Sea Witch Pixie. That I don't like the fabric that it's on, so I'm like I'm like probably a quarter done, and I don't like the fabric. I don't enjoy stitching on it. I want to do the project, so I'm going to restart that project again. I think that's enough for 2 weeks. I'm hoping I will hear and maybe get in my Sterling ink planner so I can show that, do some with that. I'd like to print out some tarot card stickers so that I can like track the tarot and find a way to track my needlework and knitting in my planner as well, since I carry that thing around with me all the time. That is way more than enough for 2 weeks. So that's pretty much it for my life and my updates. I'm watching my cat here. This is a lot shorter of a video. Maybe this will be a little bit more palatable for people. I did see that I'm getting a little bit more viewers and followers. So I'm getting a little bit more hopeful that I'm finding the people. And like I want to do some shout outs. I hope that I can figure this out. This has been the problem, is even though I've shouted people out in the past, until last time I didn't have the ability to put the hyperlinks in. So I'm hoping I can figure that out this time. So I wanted to shout out the Ditty Stitcher, the Chinook Crafter, who have both shouted me out. I'm Michelle Bendy Stitchy. What else do I watch? These 20 Stitches. I watch them a lot. Now I'm drawing a complete blank, even though I watch like at least one Flosstube video a day. The Kitschy Whips. She has the same sort of style in stitching that I do. I really love the big ladies. I do have Michael, I think it is, Archangel. I wanted to do that one, but I've kind of got off the angel thing because of my pagan belief. I don't have angels in my belief system, so like I'm not really drawn to angels. I just really, that's seemed to be the thing when I started stitching. So I actually have quite a few angels done, and I don't know, one of these days I'm gonna have to take pictures of them. My first two children, their birth samplers were Angels by Lavender and Lace, and I do have, although I have to reframe it because the glass broke, fell off the wall. One of the kids accidentally bumped into it, it was on the wall. It fell off the wall and the glass shattered. And so that one's kind of just sitting up there waiting to be re-glassed. That is the Blue Moon Angel, also from Mirabilia, Lavender and Lace. And I've done quite a few for my mother. My mother has Ice Angel and the Angel of Autumn. And I did one for her best friend that was the Mirabilia moon. It's the one with the moon, the crystal and jewel. When she passed away, it was given to her granddaughter, I believe. And my aunt Frances, she has a Lavender and Lace Angel that I did for her as well. So I've done quite a few angels. I'm now more into like mermaids and fairies and dragons. I'm starting to go more, now that they have them, the witches and the pumpkins and the Halloween-y stuff. I love me a good frog. I love me a frog. My favorite animal is frog. So I have one from Fine Frog Stitchery that I want to start as well. And I'm probably going to end it here. My daughter did do a quick snippet of me being silly with her hamster, Lord Marshmallow. So we will insert that here. And I will see you in 2 weeks, hopefully with a few more projects and a lot more stitching and something interesting to talk about. And until then, keep stitching and keep knitting and keep going. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye. This is the Lord Marshmallow. He is the most wonderful Lord Marshmallow. Lord Marshmallow!
Okay, that's enough.